can explore, in your terrific new book, it's a great read, by the way, maybe we can explore the bigger picture if we step back and look at the past 30 years since the fall of the Soviet Union. Do you think when people embraced Frank Fukuyama as the end of history, that was premature and unwarranted?
Yes, absolutely premature. Fukuyama is a great thinker, and he opened the real question, but he was wrong. And the situation of today, what happened in Kurdistan, what I say in this book, is the reply to Fukuyama and the proof that he was wrong. History is not finished. History is not frozen. The liberal democracy, alas, I would have loved Fukuyama to be right, has not won all over the planet. There is a reset, like for a computer, a reset of history with new stakes, with new ideological battles, with new real battles too, with the rise of radical Islam, for example, with the rise of the Chinese imperialism, for example, with the will of power of Vladimir Putin, for example. You have on 5 stages, the 5 stages I describe and depict in this book, a sort of awakening of history, that comes back from its apparent sleepiness.
And how do you see Russia today? You mentioned Putin. What do you think Russia is what Putin is doing, what Russia is doing?
Russia is in demographic, economic, financial terms, is a weak power. Russia could even be characterized, that is the way I do it in the book, as a zombie state. But in front of this strange America, who no longer stands with its own creed and values, Russia is putting her advantage wherever she can. And for example, the decision of President Trump to withdraw his troops from Syria is an incredible gift which is made to Bashar al-Assad, grand Democrat, as you know, to Hezbollah and Iran, great Democrat too, and to the godfather of the coalition, who is Russia. America is leaving the Middle East, at least for the moment Syria, but tomorrow Lebanon, and tomorrow the whole area, if it continues this way, to Vladimir Putin. So for me, Vladimir Putin is part of the problem. Russia is part of this new world, directed more and more by unliberal and undemocratic leadership and values.
So this intended, stated U.S. withdrawal from Syria, which some of us hope doesn't happen, but assuming that it happens, that just fits into your thesis about American abdication?
Alas, it fits in my thesis. Yes, alas, I would have loved nothing more than being wrong. I would have loved nothing more than seeing America really great again. Really going back to its creed and principles and values, but it is not the case. Now in Syria, America is abandoning the last Syrian Democrats to Bashar al-Assad and the Kurds to Erdogan. And he may tell us, Donald Trump may tell us that he warned Erdogan, be careful, you are responsible of the fate of the Kurds. Erdogan will, after the departure of the American troops, if it happens, Erdogan will do exactly what he wants to do. And President Trump gave him, to Erdogan, a permit to shoot, a permit to act, a permit to move as he wishes. This is the reality.
You have a fascinating account of the influence of the internet and of social media on politics. some of it and knowledge, some of it is of course positive, but you also describe in a way that I thought was extremely interesting the negative impacts of social media and the internet. How would you explain that?
The positive effects, we know them. Access for everybody to the knowledge of the world, possibility for each citizen of the world at last to express himself, to make his point if he wants, and to be learned. Every possible lady or man of the world stepping out of the night of the unknown, all that is good. All that is a big progress of democracy. The bad effects are an attack on truth. In the new social medias, in the new digital world, fake news are queens, are kings. The difference between truth and not truth is less and less visible, and there is a huge progress of conspiracy theories, plots, and so on. This is one bad consequences of this digital revolution. The other one, in which I try to go as deep as I can, is a change in our relationship to ourselves. I give you just one example. Our memory. We all have the experience of a dinner with friends, a conversation with our beloved, where suddenly we miss an information. We are looking for a date, for a souvenir, for whatever. And what do? 20 years ago, we digged in our head, if I dare say. We tried to find it out. Now, we take out of our pocket this little machine and we Google. And there is a sort of exfiltration of our memory from our head to our phone, which is in our pocket, which is a very strange process, which could look like, at the end of the day, a sort of anthropological revolution. There was in the French history the story of a priest in the first centuries of Christianity, a bishop, who was called Bishop Denis. And he is reminded as having been beheaded by barbarians, but there was a miracle. He could climb the hill, which is called now Saint-Denis, with his head under his elbow. So he took his own head under his elbow and he climbed the hill of Saint-Denis. We are all in the process of becoming sort of Saint-Denis, having not our head, but our memory, not under our elbow, but in our pockets. So if this happens, if this goes to its end, if we don't mobilize ourselves with the digital companies in order to reverse somehow, if it is still possible, this process, we will all be Saint-Denis, having exfiltrated offshore, put offshore our memory, offshore from our body. This would be a bad thing. This is another analysis of the Empire and the Five Kings.
That is a fascinating perspective. We've been talking today with Bernard-Henri Levy about his new book, The Empire and the Five Kings. It's a terrific read. Thank you very much, Bernard, for talking with us.
Thank you, Media. Thank you.